Hi everyone, welcome to my first YouTube video. I wish I could say I'm not nervous, but I can't say that. I'm really nervous and hope it doesn't show too badly. But if it does, I've told you, and hopefully you can laugh at me or laugh with me along the way. My name is Max and I live in London, Ontario, Canada. I have just in the past year decided to renovate my garage. I have your standard 2-car garage that I've decided to insulate, put a heating system in, paint walls, do floor, everything that I needed to do in order to work on vehicles 12 months of the year. The wonderful thing is I can do it in a t-shirt. Right now I think it's about -10 below, that's in Celsius, and it is snowing. And so I'm comfortable in my new home. After I finished doing this renovation, my wife thought that I might be moving in here, but unfortunately I don't have a place for a cot, so I'll have to stay in the home for now. Anyways, I will guide you through what I've done in my shop, the tools that I have to do detailing, and I really have to take a moment and thank many of the YouTube detailers that have taken their time in posting their videos, because it's been a world of information and it's just been wonderful, and I'd love to give to that community in some small way and hopefully help you along the way. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'd love to get back to you and respond to any inquiries you might have, and hopefully you'll enjoy this video. So here's my workshop. The first thing I had to address were the garage doors. Unfortunately, what was in here was uninsulated, very inexpensive doors. And so I chose to go with a brand called Garaga doors. And with these doors, I did what's known as high lift tracks. And so the wonderful thing is when the doors open, they hug near the ceiling. They do allow a bit of space to allow for light fixtures and such. And then of course the garage door openers are on the side. And so you just, you get rid of all that stuff right in the center, if you will, that you usually find with garage door and garage door openers. So I'm really happy with that. The high lift doors are just a real nice addition. The next thing I did was paint all the walls. It was a fairly dark color, and I chose to go with a really nice color of white. Sorry, a bit of a joke there. So I chose to keep everything just nice and white, keep it nice and clean, nice and bright, and insulate. The walls were insulated, but then we also had to insulate. Above this is the attic, and so that's the attic access there. And when it was built, no insulation was placed above here, so we insulated the attic area in order to to make it as warm as possible and keep all the energy inside this garage and not expending outside during the winter months. And right here is a real wonderful addition that I painstakingly thought of and finally decided to go with. It's called a radiant tube heater. This unit is a Shank P40R. It's 40,000 BTU and does a wonderful job of heating this area up. It runs on a thermostat, so you set the temperature. It's really nice and quiet, goes on and off when required. The great thing about this is it doesn't blow around air, so there's not going to be dust being sort of flown around or strewn around in my garage here. And it's a wonderful heat source. It's almost like standing in the sun. It really is great. And if you notice, I'll try to show it here. We installed it, or I got it installed, at a 30-degree angle. So it allows for the heat to be sort of dispersed in the center of the room. And that allows you to install it nearer to the wall as opposed to having it further into the center of the ceiling. And so this heat system works wonderfully. It runs with natural gas. It is very efficient, and this is a real nice unit to use for heating your garage. Now the next thing I had to address was lighting. And as you can see here, we've got six bulb fixtures. And my shout out goes out to Matt at Obsessed Garage, as I purchased these lights from him, and they work wonderfully. I believe they're about a little over 17,000 lumens per unit. So if you take that times 6, I think I have a little over 100,000 lumens in this room. It's actually very bright. Some of the neighbors have laughed when they walk by. They think that the sun is in the garage and not outside. That's how nice and bright it is in here. And so now the other thing I had to do, I have a lot of stuff, as you can tell. Unfortunately, I have a lot of detailing supplies, and I needed somewhere to store it. And I just wanted to use as much of the space as possible. And so I got these shelves. They're hung on the wall, and they are fastened to the studs. And every 8-foot section, I believe every 8-foot section, will take up to 900 pounds. I believe that's, please don't take it as being absolutely correct, but I believe that's what it is. And so I took 2 8-foot sections on the bottom and another one at the top, so it gives me a lot of storage to be able to put extra soap, vacuum cleaners, all kinds of car stuff that I have, so that I need a place to put it. And I doubled it up, and I actually did the exact same thing on this wall. And so those shelving units up there really allow for some real nice storage. I got some totes, and I got boxes. Obviously you can tell I have a lot of microfibers and a whole bunch of stuff. And so I like to stock up when prices are good to last me. I don't have to be digging around looking for additional soap in the next little while. So those shelving there work beautifully and give me a lot of extra storage space in this garage. So yeah, so that's the structure of the garage. And then what I'm going to do in the next section is we're going to talk about some of the detailing tools. And now I'd like to show you some of my detailing supply, or detailing tools, if you will. And the first thing I'll start with is my pressure washer. And so I have to admit, I love pressure washers. And in this garage, I actually have 2 of them. I have the Comet, which I fasten to the wall. And it's a wonderful pressure washer. I believe it has a 70-foot hose. And I also have I have 2 wands there and 2 wand holders. One of them is for the Comet, and the other one I use it for my Kranzle pressure washer, which I have on this cart here. And it may look a little funny, but that cart with the pressure washer is wonderful. I could wheel it around anywhere. I can bring it outside. All I need to do is get the hose and fasten it to it and set up the power, and I'm all set. So it works really great to have that Kranzle on that stand. So back over here, so I've got the Comet, and if you notice, my hose bib here is I really believe in filtering water when you're using it with a pressure washer. You never know what can possibly get in there, and if it gets into the pressure washer, it can cause damage. So I like to, these are fairly inexpensive filters, but I always ensure that I use a filter before I plumb the water into the pressure washer. And then right below it, I have the CR Spotless water unit that I use. I can use it with the Comet, or I can use it with the Kranzle. I have all quick disconnect hoses, so I can disconnect it from the hose from the pressure washer, put it into the CR Spotless, and then take another hose and run it through. So it only takes a minute or 2 to do that. And the great thing, I have the ability of using it with that or using it with the Kranzle. But this Comet pressure washer is really nice, and so is the Kranzle. Either one, you can't go wrong with any of these washers. They really make it a joy to work with. And so next to the pressure washer, I have a BigBoi. This is called a Blower R Pro, and it has the 30-foot hose. And so I fastened it to the wall so it never comes down. It just stays there. I've got the necessary ear muffs there right beside it. The blower gets pretty loud, so it's always a great idea to wear ear protection. So that is the method of drying the car. Next to it on the wall, I have an undercarriage washer. It works really great, but I have a bit of a surprise actually. Further in this video, you're going to see something that's an undercarriage washer, but is far, far better than that one. And then right below that, I have my wheel stand, so it works great for washing wheels and rims, as well as when you're putting any kind of coatings on them. It does a great to have the wheel stand. Then of course I got the right beside it I have a dehumidifier. Always a great thing to have. It's amazing how much humidity you know, sort of accumulates in here. So having that is really handy to have, or you really need it. And so okay, so we go on this side. Here's my assortment of brushes and tools. Now in this area, this is everything that I would require to wash a car. So I have the buckets. I have all of my brushes above it. On the shelving, you're going to see, you know, the foam cannons, the soaps, window cleaner, hides that I use, rust stop for all the brake rotors. And above that are my drying towels, as well as my wash mitts. And I also have a sponge and a few other ones. And above that are some soap containers I use to refill my smaller containers that are on that first shelf. And so again, everything is right here, so it makes it really practical to work with. Everything I need to wash a car is right there. I have my water to fill my buckets. Got my pressure washer, I got all my tools, I got everything here that I need in order to clean the car. So now next to it, I just hung my I thought that was a suitable place to put my my hose for my vacuum, but I do hide the vacuum somewhere, and I will show you where that is and later in the video. And then over on this section, I did have to use some of the room in here had to be used for some household items, our recycling, as well as the water bottles that we use for our water cooler. And so that section is for the house, but that's about the only thing that's for the house. Everything else is for my garage. And then under here, actually, this is a real nice little spot. This is where I keep my, got my extractor. And then next to it, I have two dollies, if you will. And one of them, the one on the right, which is that one, I use when I detail cars. And so that's the one that I would put my polishers and cloths and, you know, polishes and stuff on that one. And next to it is everything that I require for my my car lift. I do have the quick jack car lift that is hanging on a wall. I'll show you that soon. But everything is on that. So when I use my quick jacks, I just take out that dolly, if you will, and everything's on there. The hoses, the hydraulic pump, everything is on that. So it's really quite handy to work with those two. All I do is move the extractor out of the way, and I can take those dollies out and work with it. And then, yeah, so up here again, my shelving. So those are all my detailing supplies that I have, or additional ones. So I keep everything kind of stored nice and neatly up there. And then of course I have my cabinets that I've placed here. It's a bit of a mishmash on cabinets. The two bottom units here that you can see right here, I've had those for years and years. I purchased them, I think, at the Home Depot, and they're just wonderful. And so I kept them and worked around it. These other cabinets are actually a company called New Age, and these are the Pro Series, and they're quite nice. They're reasonably priced and do a great job for you know, for storing my detailing supplies and stuff. And so here I'll show you what's in these cabinets. And here, let me get my dolly out of the way here. I apologize. And so in my first large cabinet here, and then of course I got my scan grip light with a magnet, works great. So if I open this, I apologize if it looks a bit messy, but for me it works great. I have my stereo system, if you will, up there that I have with speakers in the room, so I can listen to my music, my B&W speakers I love so much. This is just miscellaneous, you know, rags and tools that I use for, again, a variety of things. This shelf here, I have a roll of I guess it's like a clear adhesive that you can put on carpeting when you're done detailing the floors. It works great. It says removed by detailer, so kind of imitates you know, what you get in a new car. And then I've got my duster and some extension cords. And then at the very bottom, I have my wonderful little vacuum that just works wonderfully. Wonderful. Sorry, a lot of wonderfuls in there, but it's a rigid vacuum and it does a great job. It's nice and portable, and love that vacuum. And next to it is something that I just absolutely love, and that is my steamer. It is a Dupre steamer, And it is, I guess you consider that an industrial grade, because it does go up, I believe it's 347 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can keep operating, you don't have to stop it to fill the water. I believe it's called the Hill Injection Unit. Sorry, don't take my word exactly for it, but anyways, it runs wonderfully. As a steamer, it's one of the better ones you can buy. It's an industrial grade steamer. And I just love that for taking decals off, or a variety of things to do with detailing. So that's what's in this cabinet. And then if I go over to this side, I have I got a little shelving unit to keep things kind of stored away. I have my hook, or my phone stand, if you will, and I can hang my headphones on it, and my television, and of course paper towels, everyone's required, and there's my nitrile gloves. And here are I love Rupes, and I do have a few of their polishers. I've got two of the 15-inch one. One is the Mark II and the other is a Mark III. The Mark II, actually, I put a Kamikaze backing plate on it, and the other is the Rupes backing plate. I use them both for various reasons. One, for particular work I like to do, and other, it is very handy to have the both. And then of course I have my 3-inch. That 3-inch polisher is probably one of the best polishers you can get. I just love working with that. You know, again, depending on the panels you have on the car, having the ability of going from a 5-inch to a 3-inch. And I also have the Hybrid Nano that allows you to go to a 2 or a 1. I barely use the 2, but the 1-inch for sure. So I kind of hung them there with the Rupes. I guess those are their new wall mount units. Yeah, and then, okay, if I go above here, sorry, I also have a small compressor. It's a California with an aluminum tank. It's not a big compressor, but all I do is, you know, fill the odd tire or blow out the pads. That's basically what I have it for. And then what I did is I put it with a hose reel at the top. And so all I need to do is bring my hose with me, and I could use air wherever I need it. So that compressor's works really quite well. And then if I go into these cabinets here, I believe this is just a variety of, again, protectants, solvents. I got some drills and some tools up in there, as well as you know, extra little buckets and funnels and such. And then in this cabinet is my cabinet of my microfiber cloths that I use. And so I keep a good selection in there. Of course, I got a lot more up on top, and I just recycled them when I need them. You can never have enough microfiber cloth. At least that's what I think. And then next to it is where I put all of my products that I use for interior, for doing leather. Again, just a variety of different things that I use for detailing. Again, mainly for the interior of the car and for, you know, for certain cleaners of certain areas and such. And then next to it is where I put my polishes and my protectants. All that I keep in that cabinet. And so as you can see, I try to keep it fairly organized. I don't keep any of my ceramic coatings in the garage here. I keep it in the house. I keep it downstairs in a nice, cool area. I just feel better about leaving it down there. And so yeah, so these are the cabinets on the very top. So again, all detail oriented. And then when I come to the bottom here, this, again, I've got sanding paper, in this case, applicators, variety of things that I use. Here's my sanding paper, fishing wear. It's not to go fishing, to take logos, but emblems off cars and such. And then this one here, this is where I put everything that I need for my 1 and 2 inch Hybrid Nano from Rupes, including the charger. And I've got a variety of microfiber pads. I've got their new wool pads in all the different sizes in order to use with the 1 or the 2 inch if I need to. And then below that is all my pads for my 3-inch polisher are all neatly put in here. And of course, as you would guess, the bottom one is for everything I would use for my 5-inch polishers. And of course I've got a variety of brushes and tools and a tornador in there and cleaners, so everything to do with the polishing. Everything is there. And then in this section here I have, again, brushes and such, and you know, my Tar-X, anything to do with decontamination of the car is usually on that shelf. And then the next shelf is a real nice treat. I just got this, and this is the new, I guess, Obsessed Garage undercarriage cleaner, and as well as floor cleaner, because I do have the Swiss Trax flooring in this garage, which I haven't spoken about yet. I will. It works wonderfully. It's just such a wonderful. It's not cheap, but it's just a wonderful piece of machinery. It's just so well designed. You know, a couple of flips, you flip the wheels, and you can use it as an undercarriage washer or use it as a washer for the floor. And then down here I got my Milwaukee mid-torque wrench for taking wheels off of cars, and that'll all come in here. This is a cabinet I keep all my tools. I have another wrench, I guess, that I use, or an impact wrench from Rigid. It works really well and does a great job, but I have a variety of tools and everything to do with removing wheels. And then here I've got my tape applicators, little holder for you know, holding on to the bottles of ceramic coating. And then here is just a variety of brushes and tools. Again, not the best organized, and I'm not the most tool savvy person, but enough to get me by when I need something. And of course I got my little television there if I ever want to watch some YouTube and stuff. And then I come to the side here, and since I have high areas here, so I've got a couple of ladders that I've got placed so I could use them to get, you know, items from the top shelves. And I also have a jack under there. And so in this ladder here, this step ladder, this Gorilla step ladder, I purchased that just a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. And it gives you a 10-foot reach. I absolutely love that step ladder. I believe it's a new item that they carry, I think is at the Home Depot. Or actually, I did buy it at Home Depot. I don't know if they carry it elsewhere. But if you're looking for a step ladder, I would highly, highly recommend that one. It really is a wonderful step ladder. And then in the corner here, you'll see I got this pad washer. It's from Detail Guards. And at the very top, I got my black bucket, and in there, that's where I wash my pads. I can spin it out with that and the apparatus that they have in order to clean the pads, you know, after you use them, because after you've done a car, you can have 20 or 30 pads that you need to clean. And so that works really well for doing that. In this section here, my wife laughs at this. It's kind of this sore thumb sticking out in the middle of nowhere here, but this is where I put my rags, my microfiber rags. You know, once they're used, I put them in there for the wash at a later date. And of course, I have a bit of a garbage at the bottom. And then over on this side, here are my quick jacks that I've mounted onto the wall, kind of get them out of the way. I love those things. I love to have a lift in here too, but this is so nice because you can actually, you know, you put them out, lift the car when you need it, then it just completely gets out of the way when you don't need it. Maybe one day I'll get a lift, but for now, I really do enjoy these quick jack units. And then next to it, on the top here, I've got this funny little shelving unit. I use that for, after I wash my pads, I use that to put the pads on. It allows them to air dry, and I could just leave them there, forget about it, and you know, hopefully a few days later they're nice and dry, and I put them back away. And then right below it is the mat wall, if you will. In here, I put two pieces of aluminum, as well as 4 of these mat holders. And the funny thing is, these mat holders I was able to find, they're from a company called Mosmatic, and they're a real high-end detail. I guess they have everything to do with wash bays and stuff, but Mosmatic, they're the ones that build that undercarriage pressure washer that I purchased from Obsessed Garage, and they also do the wands as well as the guns that you see with the my pressure washer. So Mosmatic is a real nice manufacturer of detail, or I guess of wash bay items. I think they're really, you know, that's the thrust of their business is wash bays and such. And they do wonderful swivels, and I don't know that much about them, but they do make really great quality products. In this particular one, I have to, this is a shout out to Rick from Rad's Garage. I saw it on his channel and I fell in love with it. I think I spoke to him and told him I was going to steal his idea. And there it is. It's not as nice as his. I couldn't get just one sheet delivered here. So it was with the COVID. And anyways, I got it in 2 sections and mounted it myself. It's worked out all right. And so that's the wall of mats. And then next to it are my scan grip lights that I use, obviously for, you know, doing paint correction and stuff. I do have a lot of lighting on the ceiling, but you can never have enough light. And so those are my scan grip lights, and behind it is a bit of a platform that I can use for working on vehicles that are a little taller than I am, or working on the roof. And right here, here's a funny little addition that I put on these shelves. This is just your standard window covering curtain rod, if you will. And what I did is I adapted it and put it on these shelves that I mounted to the wall. And the wonderful thing is when I'm done with my dry rags after drying the car, I can hang them on there and let them dry. It really functions wonderfully. It's just a funny little idea and it works great. So now I think we've gone all the way around the shop. The one thing I forgot to touch base on was I installed what's known as this Swiss Trax flooring. And it is a fantastic flooring. If anybody is thinking of doing any kind of flooring, it is wonderful. Matt, again from Obsessed Garage, sells this flooring. It is great. Up in the north here, we have snow melting. When I wash a vehicle, what have you, it allows no water on the top. I don't know exactly how deep it is. It's maybe 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. And it's all channeled underneath, so the water will flow freely into the drain or outside the door, or whatever way that is required to go out. And it's just a great flooring. If you ever need to, you can take it out and wash the floor. You can wash these units. And again, this undercarriage washer that I purchased / Swiss Trax floor washer, I tell you, when this floor gets dirty, that makes it look like new again with ease. You use it with the pressure washer and there you go. And so that is the tour of my garage. I don't think I've forgotten anything, but I likely have. If you do have any questions, or if you'd like to know anything further about what I've done, or anything at all, please just message me. I'd love to hear from you. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this. Again, this is my paradise at home. I love detailing, have been doing it for a long time. And this is a great spot. I can put the car and leave it here for, for a week or what have you. And that's usually the kind of work that I do. I will have a car for, 4 or 5 days, and dial it in. Sorry, Matt. And make it look as best as I possibly can. And I absolutely love working in my shop here. So thank you everyone for joining me. I'd like to thank, many people on YouTube that have kind of helped this whole product unknowingly by their videos they've put on. Again, Matt from Obsessed Garage, Rick from Rad's Garage, and countless others. I'm sorry, there's many that I'd like to thank as well. But this is my shop, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and be safe.